Welcome to Project Slice. It's Dr. K back with another video to help you achieve project success. This is the first video in a series focused on the critical project dimension of risk management. The Project Management Body of Knowledge, or PMBOK, describes a project risk as an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, has a negative or a positive effect on at least one project objective, such as time, cost, scope, or quality. Risk management involves taking steps to effectively reduce, monitor, and manage the likelihood or impact of negative risks, or to take advantage of positive risks, also known as opportunities. In this video series, we will focus on the negative risks. Our focus today is on identifying risks associated with the project scope by using the work breakdown structure, or WBS. Let's go. A good place to start is by defining three key terms and seeing how they are related. And those terms are 1. The project scope, 2. The project scope statement, and 3. The work breakdown structure, or WBS. The scope of a project refers to all the work that needs to be done to deliver the project's end product, service, or result. The project scope statement is a project tool that documents a high-level overview of the scope, including its major deliverables, assumptions, and constraints. The WBS is a tool that is used to decompose or break down the project scope into progressively smaller units of work or work elements. Let's take a look. The work elements at the lowest level of decomposition are known as work packages, and in terms of duration, they tend not to exceed 80 person hours. Each work package should have a clearly defined output. The WBS represents the entirety of the work specified in the approved project scope. Now that those definitions are out of the way, how can we use the WBS to help with identifying project risks? Well, the actual process of creating and refining the WBS can be a rich source of clues about where things could go wrong. Here are some WBS telltale signs that scope problems may be brewing. Telltale sign number 1. Difficulty decomposing the scope. Creating the WBS involves gradually breaking down the scope statement into smaller, more manageable elements of work. If the scope is sufficiently explained and understood, this should be a relatively uncomplicated exercise. However, if the process is downright confusing, this indicates that there are some gaps in your understanding of the scope, which is a big red flag. A situation like this requires revisiting the scope and consulting with the relevant stakeholders for greater clarification. Do not, I repeat, do not try to force your way through the process if any part of your scope is resisting the decomposition process. Telltale sign number 2. Work packages do not sum up to their parent work element. The WBS decomposition exercise is done in such a way that when a parent work element is broken down into child work packages, those work packages should represent all the work and deliverables associated with the parent work element. If the listed work packages under a parent work element do not sum up to an exhaustive to-do list for that work element, then the WBS is lacking and represents a scope risk. At this point, you need to stop and consult with stakeholders and/or experts to determine the missing parts of the WBS. If the missing pieces cannot be described, they should be noted as scope risks. Telltale sign number 3, delegation challenges for work packages. An important component of creating the WBS is delegating the work packages to individuals or teams for execution. If there is difficulty in determining the most appropriate owner for a work package, this could indicate inadequate human resources with the required skill sets. On the other hand, if you do have appropriate human resources, but for some reason, no one seems to want to take the work package on, that is also a red flag worth exploring. Could it be that no one really understands the work involved? Or they understand the work, but realize within the given conditions, it's a disaster waiting to happen. These scenarios represent scope risks that should be noted and described. Conduct further investigation to determine the root cause of these risks before proceeding further. Telltale sign number 4, work package overload. As the size of the WBS increases, so does the complexity of the project. The more moving pieces there are for a single project manager to oversee, increases the opportunity for things to go wrong and reduces the probability of completing the project successfully. As best practice, any project with more than 200 work packages should be considered for reorganization. Reorganization could mean breaking it down into smaller projects to be run sequentially or to be run concurrently in a program, with each project having its own project manager. And that's it for our first video in this project risk management series. Remember, risk is inherent to every project, so it's important that you know where to look for it. I'd now like to take a second to shout out one of my favorite risk management subject matter experts, Tom Kendrick, and his book, Identifying and Managing Project Risk, the 4th edition, which was just released. This book was instrumental as a reference tool for this video. I highly recommend. You can find the link to this book in the description. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to keep up with more great project management content. What project management topic would you like me to cover next? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, this is Dr. K saying, keep calm and project on.